I am killing you guys with videos here. Well, what can I do? What can I say? The spirit is 10, 11, 12 videos scheduled ahead. So that's why I'm going to be doing these live streams like this. Because some things I feel like urgently, I want you guys to get the message now. But I got so many videos scheduled, so then boom, if there's something I feel like it's urgent that I have to say, I'll do it. I'll say it in like a quick live stream, such as yesterday, such as today. Okay? So, to follow up on what we talked about yesterday in the live stream, the sort of freedom to navigate and move about in the amusement park. Uh, so, one thing I've been reflecting ever since yesterday, ever since we talked, and here, let me just see. I'm Reed. Yeah, what's up, brother? Yeah, that's how the universe works. That's how synchronicities work, my friend. So, to follow up on what we talked about yesterday, and so the possibility of, say, dropping your body or, deciding, I don't want to come back here, I don't want to reincarnate or whatever, being having a conscious death, which is very important, even if you would like to stay here, because death is imminent for everybody. Okay, even if you become a breatharian, you reach immortality. At some point, you'll probably have a natural death, like when you're meditating or something. More than likely. So death is imminent, regardless of what hack you do in this spacesuit. At least that's my opinion, right? So it's good to be prepared for death and all. But I've been reflecting on what I talked about yesterday, and the first step to freedom, I guess, whatever freedom is for you, okay? Because again, if your idea of freedom is going hanging out in the astral plane, that's relatively free. Again, it's just another part of the amusement park, okay? But I guess being conscious, deciding where to go next, where to move on after. But the first step, I think, and I really took this into meditation. I went last night in the park for an hour, 11 p.m., just before bed when it's quiet. Meditated on this. And the first step is to create heaven on earth right now. Right now. Okay? Despite the planet clearly being a prison planet. I mean, clearly. Okay? I mean, you're basically being charged to breathe air. You gotta pay taxes to be a resident of a geographical location. When the colonists came to the North America, and they encountered the natives, and they were telling them this is our land. The natives couldn't even conceive of the idea of possession, because to them that exists. This is God's land, everybody's land. So it's clearly a prison planet. It clearly, the political structure, the fact that we live in tight knit space, in homes, wearing shoes, wearing clothes. I mean, in every sense, in every way you see it, you need a passport to go from one country to another. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's constantly security and airplanes going about. I mean, clearly the dark element has been dominant in the planet. But despite all of that, it remains that your mind creates matter. That's sort of the rule. Actually, that's the first principle, the Hermetic principle. All is matter. All is mind. So despite living in, let's just be honest here, a shithole, if your mind, if you're living in heaven, even in a shithole like this, you'll still create heaven. And to my understanding, wherever you go after you die is basically your state of mind and being just before you pass on. Okay? So the first step on this current earth, in the here, in the now, okay? And Marcus, what's up, my man? Giorgio, hello. Yeah, so what I was saying is the first step is create the heaven right now, okay? With your mind, define what heaven is for you, okay? Define it, build it, imagine it in your mind, and begin to live it out day to day here, okay? And that's after some reflections, I realized, it's a prison planet, but I've got this mind, right? I can create matter. This is the first principle of the Hermetic principle. Okay, so I might as well create heaven on earth. I might as well, like, okay, what is the idea of heaven for you? Write it down, visualize it, and begin to live it. Okay, how would you do that without gaining attachment? Very good question. So I'll get to that in a second, Amrit. Okay, just to keep sort of, I feel like this, even what we're talking about here, is very relevant to my latest video, which was posted like 30 minutes ago. Visualize what heaven is for you. Okay, just to share a personal example here, because all I could do is share with you experience, right? I have a certain place of what heaven for me here looks like. And that basically looks like living in a country-like environment, somewhere with lots of trees, lots of lakes, rivers, quietude is like a prerequisite for my idea of heaven. Okay, lots of birds around, lots of pleasant smells. Okay, some flute, nice music, that kind of stuff. Okay, and so I begin to visualize this, and I realize that actually that's kind of the life that I'm shifting to right now with my move to Southeast Asia now, and I've already basically booked the place that I'm going to be in, and it basically sounds like everything I just told you. Okay, so really, despite this planet being such a prison planet, not to be so gloomy about it, because you realize, okay, it doesn't matter. There's these elites, this dark element in the universe right now. They've been winning for the last 2,000 years, because it's the natural cycle. We're in the dark age, but they can't take your mind away from you, right? And there's a book, A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And he says, I mean, he was a prisoner in the Holocaust camps. Okay, he was a survivor. And he said, no matter what they do, they can never take our minds away from us. And he said, all the people who survived the Holocaust are those who kept strong in their mind. And that's something nobody can take from you, not the elites, nobody else. And it's the most powerful tool in creation, because it literally, matter is sort of manifested out of the mind. Okay, energy manifests matter. So the first step would be to create the heaven on earth, because if you create the heaven on earth and you live in a heavenly state here, guess what? When it's time for you to go, whenever you do it, whether it's consciously, you decide to drop your body and move on, go wherever you want to go after, come back here or go somewhere else, whatever, right? Then your state of mind at the time of death is going to largely determine where you go next. Okay? And let me tell you something else. This is a prison planet, all right. But we all somehow got pulled into here with our desires and attachments. So in a way, nobody's here by force. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody's really here by force. Sure, it is a prison planet, but the people, this dark element who are, feeding off the fear, because it's a fear-based planet at the moment. It's everything is fear. Animals are constantly scared, humans are constantly scared of one another. Okay, they simply feed on a pre-existing fear inside of you, or certain desires, and that propels your energy at the time of death to come here. Okay, and I've sort of been listening to the Tibetan Book of the Dead again, and I've been gaining some insights that actually your energy just kind of gets pulled wherever it was at the time of death. So any attachments and desires will pull you towards the next birth, or getting stuck in this prison planet. So if you imagine a heaven on earth and strive to work towards it and create it, be in a heavenly state, in every sense of the word, create your ideal heaven. Your ideal heaven might be to be in the middle of Manhattan. Okay? Unlikely for most of you guys, for most of this audience, but it could be. You like to be in the middle of the city, you like the noises, they're pleasant for you, it's totally cool. You create your heaven and you live it here. So that when you leave, whether you decide, okay, I've had enough here, time for me to go, or whether it happens just natural causes, then at least at the time of death, you're in a heavenly state of being. And so you'll move on to a pleasant state after. Okay, you'll move on. Even if you come back here, you'll come back in pleasant situations. You might come back and incarnate in Tibet and become a monk or something like that. You know, that's pretty pleasant if you ask me. You know, if my energy goes towards incarnating as a monk in Tibet, I'd be pretty happy even with my next existence. It's pretty pleasant, pretty blissful. You know, it's a pleasant state of being. So even if you do come back here after, leaving from here in a heavenly state will almost guarantee you that you will be in a pleasant circumstance wherever you go next. Whether you decide, I don't want to come back here anymore, or I want to go somewhere else. Your energy will propel you towards these places. Okay? So now, to get to the question by Amrit, how would you do that without gaining attachment? I think daily meditation is good. Vipassana specifically is really good because Vipassana is about sitting down and simply observing things as they are. You observe your emotions. You observe, like, for example, I was meditating today. I've got these ants on me, you know, climbing up. So I'm just sitting there meditating. I'm observing. I'm like, this kind of, I don't like it. I don't like it. And then I'll just hang in there. And after maybe a minute or two, these unpleasant sensations of the ants crawling up on me kind of become pleasant and ticklish. And after a while, I don't even notice it. In other words, meditating and just being like practicing mindfulness, you begin to realize that everything is impermanent. And if you're daily reminded through meditation, if you're daily reminded that everything is impermanent, you can't really get attached. It's like a medicine, an antidote, right? You can't really get attached because you're constantly reminded that everything is impermanent. But not just that, by creating a heavenly state here, right now, in the here and the now, creating a certain life where for you that's heaven. The other thing why you know, it's unlikely that you'll get attached because you know that at the time of death, especially if you always keep death in mind and you prepare for that moment daily, okay? Daily. Honestly, you should always keep death in mind every single day. Then another reason why it will be unlikely for you to get attached is because you know wherever you go next is going to be just as pleasant. You know what I mean? Like you might be, you know, create a beautiful life, living somewhere in the country, everything is beautiful, you're making income online and you barely have to put in any hours or anything like that, you're sharing your passion with the world, everything is smooth, and then it's time for you to die. You know, because you're in such a heavenly state here that wherever you go next is going to be the same. You understand what I'm saying? And that's sort of, you don't really get attached for it. Like, let's say you decide, you know what, I'm not coming back here anymore. I'm just going to go hang out in the astral plane after. You know, everything in the physical here, I mean, we're in the one of the lowest realms. Everything in the physical here is a projection of the astral plane, actually. So even if you decide, you know what, I'm not coming back to physical existence anymore, your energy, because you've created such a heavenly state of being here for yourself, will propel you towards probably an even much more beautiful existence somewhere else. You understand what I'm saying? And so then you know, because I mean, like when I look at trees here, I'm like, this is just a projection of the astral plane. Like, you know, everything, when I look at something beautiful here, I could automatically see that this is a projection, because we're below, I can see that this is a projection of above. You see? Because as above, so below. This is matter, and you can think of the astral plane as mind. You see? So then mind creates matter. So then why would you get attached to the lower plane when you know that no matter where you go next, the moment of death, whether you decide to come back here or whether you decide to move on, go and experience yourself playing other games in other realms, whether they're physical realms or non-physical realms, your energy will propel you towards a pleasant heavenly state. Okay, so that's why it's very important, and I thought I'd address this, that after yesterday's, you know, informative and insightful rant, that I would also make sure that, hey, look, don't get the wrong message, still be here now. and create the heaven that you want right here, right now, right now at this moment. What is the heaven for you? I don't know. It's gonna be different for every soul. Every soul on a different path. Okay? You map out what heaven is for you and begin to live it out. Okay? And no matter how much injustice and unfairness and all the perceived negativity of the world, if your mind is in a pleasant and heavenly state, you will manifest that reality, even if you're in hell. And this is all as good as hell, pretty much right now. Okay, so don't keep that in mind, that this is still something that nobody can take away from you. Okay. Hey everyone, for me, I think heaven here is somewhere like Hawaii. Yes, my brother went there, and whenever we talk about Hawaii, he starts to tear up because he just loves it so much. Do you seriously believe that there's elites ruling us, or do you think that our suffering is created by pure ignorance? Well, we're in ignorance, and there's a certain group of people that take advantage of our ignorance. So it's the ignorance actually that comes before anything. Because if we're not ignorant, nobody can force you to keep incarnating and keep doing this. Nobody can. So we all get propelled here because of attachments and desires. Trust me, if you're like done with the game, nobody elite or non-elite can really like do anything about you, can force you to come back here, or like put you in this prison like existence. Nobody can. So at the end of the day, it's about taking responsibility. So it's your ignorance, so you educate yourself, you know the source of your suffering, and then nobody can take advantage of you. Nasty Nas, what happened to your gains? They have evaporated, my friend. Have you lost the plot? I've lost all the plots. You can become a monk in this lifetime. Possibly. Who knows? I don't know if it's in my path. If it's not in my path, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But it's something I consider, something that comes into my mind from time to time. Perhaps living a year as a monk. It actually, the idea came to me yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, it came to me yesterday, and I am moving exactly to the place where I think every Thai person has to be a monk, even for a short period of time. So it's definitely not an unlikely thing at all. Okay. Again, the more I go into this path, the more I'm drawn to that type of existence, because that type of monk-like existence is like pretty much total dedication for the process of liberation, if you will. Okay. Nastiness, you're not Muslim? No, I am not. Do you think you can choose your own incarnation? Absolutely. If you become a conscious being, you can. If you become a very conscious and you're well prepared for your death, and you know exactly where you're going after, and you basically leave here in a state of bliss and heavenly like state of being, you'll have the choice. Okay. It's because most people leave from here in a state of fear because of their attachments to worldly things, because at the moment of death, I don't want to die, and they get confused and fearful, and yeah. But if you leave here in a peaceful, serene, calm state, you will be able to choose whatever you want to do after, whether it's to come back here, do something, take a certain incarnation, or in a favorable circumstances, unfavorable circumstances. You might even choose on purpose to be in unfavorable circumstances, who knows, or go somewhere else altogether. But again, you would have to be prepared for that moment of death. That's why it's very important to prepare for death, whether you want to come back here or not. It doesn't matter. This is like, it's the inevitable here. It's the only thing that we could be certain about here, that death is coming for you, for me, for everybody. Okay, so prepare for death either way, whatever you want to do after. Make sure you're prepared for death. So, do you think our past lives may be a mix of many together, like an ant and a bit of chicken and human? Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Bet I'm about to be Spider-Man my next life. How can I make fasting tolerable while in college in winter? Without the sun and fresh prana, I don't know if I can pull off consistent OMAD as a lifestyle. Uh, to be honest, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It really is difficult because the thing we have to do, we have to change our mindset about fasting is it's not fasting, it's feasting. It's feasting on other sources. So a lot of times, people will do fasting and say, well, I gotta pull through this with my willpower. But actually, that's a scarcity mindset, fear-based mindset. Again, the planet is plagued with the fear-based programs. But actually, what happens in fasted is you say, well, I'm feasting on other more abundant sources. And honestly, when it's winter and you're in school, it's difficult to do OMAD. It really requires a lot of willpower and a lot of like discipline. And I'm not a big fan of discipline and willpower anymore. So work with your circumstances, okay? Work with your circumstances. See, like right now, I'm not doing water fasting. It's mostly juices, okay? But I'm not like keeping it consistent. Maybe I'll eat a meal every 3-4 days. Like today, I'll probably have a dinner. I haven't had a meal in like 3 days, okay? But even water, because I'm not exactly in the most optimal situation right now. You see, I need my solitude, which I'll have when I move from here. I need to be in a quiet place. The area that I'm in is very noisy, very loud. So even now, I'm not prepared to do a water fast because I really need the proper environment to do it, and I'll have access to that soon. Okay, so you work with your circumstances. You see what you could do in that particular circumstance. It's winter, and it's school. It's even difficult to just eat like fruits because it's so cold, your body starts to crave cooked foods. So be flexible, work with your current condition wherever you may be, okay? And always keep that heaven that we talked about in mind. You mentioned, Matthew, that you want to move to Florida because the prana's high, it's warm, lots of sunshine, okay? So you do what you can with your current circumstance, and then if there is something that you feel like, man, I can't do OMAD, no matter how much I try, I'm using too much willpower, I'm torturing myself, just wait until you're in a better circumstance where the prana's higher, where you're more ready. You're more ready for it. Okay? And then do it. And then do it. Like I want to do a 7-day water fast, but I'm not gonna do it now. I don't have the proper environment for it. I just don't have the proper environment for it. Okay, it's like it's not a controlled environment. Fasting is this very sensitive thing, and you really gotta have the proper set and setting. So I'm just waiting on that a little bit until I sort of have a proper set and setting, just like a psychedelic trip, and go ahead with it. So always keep that in mind. Work with your circumstances. Do you watch any other anime than Dragon Ball? No. Aloha, yes, aloha. I remember one time I was on a trip. I felt like I was going to die, and I completely surrendered to it and accepted my death, but I didn't die. Yeah. Uh, Love will overcome the fear. Exactly. If you're leaving here, if you're leaving your body with a serene, tranquil, loving state, you ain't gotta worry about what happens after. Your energy will propel you towards taking a birth in any realm, any of the 6 realms, or possibly enlightenment. It doesn't matter, okay? Your energy will propel you towards that place. So it's all about here now, folks. And I really wanted to make this video because I didn't want anybody to get the wrong message from what I talked about yesterday. Maybe I didn't emphasize on it, but still be here now. Create the heaven now because you're here. Might as well create heaven. You can create heaven here, okay? I'm a living example in front of you guys. I'm basically like creating a heaven for myself. I have a very pleasant life. God bless. I really do. And it's getting more and more pleasant. But, despite the world being in such a messy place, because again, if you have the mind, you have the vision, that's the most powerful tool. So you create the heaven here and just ignore all the rest of it. You don't need to worry about that at all. All this game, all this stuff, you just don't worry about it at all. Do you think going without food is a guarantee of enlightenment? No. Absolutely not. But it's a very positive step because you well, we could sit here talk about the benefits of that all day long. So I'm not gonna get too much into it. One of them is you lessen your attachments to the physical, and you unlock unlimited energy and time, and because you're being powered by your light body. So you're already operating in the soul field by becoming, say, a breatharian. So it's the more and more I grow into this work, the more I realize just like how important it is to become a breatharian. Honestly, like the benefits are endless here. I'm not gonna talk about it here because I could take the next 30 minutes, but it's not a guarantee for enlightenment. Saeed, you're back. I see you're looking healthy from the sun. Yeah, the sun. Oh my God, you're right. You're right. I've been like feeling healthier, looking healthier because of the sun. The sun, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's their pyramid, a Breatharian pyramid, right? You sort of create your own, but usually the most abundant form of energy is your breath, and then the second one is the sun. Okay, and you could become a totally breatharian actually if you're getting sunshine, sunbathing, and sun gazing, but it takes longer. But your breath is the primary, the sun is the next one. The sun is it's so essential. It's so essential. It's so essential. Hard to eat when it's cold. Trust me. Yeah, yeah. Environment is usually stronger than the individual willpower. Yeah, it really is. You have to know your strengths and weaknesses and be pragmatic because don't force it. Just don't force it. Don't do OMAD if it's difficult, if it's winter. Don't go and eat only fruits in the middle of winter. I tried it in the winter. It's terrible. I was cold all the time. Cold all the time. I needed some heat in there. Okay? So you work with your circumstances. Ultimately, see which environment you want to be in and begin to work towards it. Okay? Begin to organize your life to work towards it because the environment is very important. It's like, come on, it's like, it's crucial. I mean, because of everything's connected. Your body's connected, and it's connected to its environment. Saeed, what did you think about the final game of or season of Game of Thrones? And I wanted to post some Game of Thrones videos. Loved the one about Arya's story arc. Yeah, I love the Arya storyline, but I just thought the season is horseshit, to be honest. I thought they lost the plot in the last couple of seasons. So they rushed it, and it was like I remember in the first few seasons when somebody wanted to travel from one part of Westeros to another, it was like a mission. It was like, and they showed you their adventure and everything. In the last season, everything was peanuts. Oh, like we were at the wall and now we're at King's Landing. Oh, like it's like so rushed, and it wasn't well done whatsoever. I watched the lion documentary today. Brutal. The female lions were toying with this young gazelle, knowing they could kill it at any time and just messing with it. I watched that. I watched virtually every lion documentary. I'm fascinated with lions. I'm just fascinated with their social structure, and I'm fascinated with like how they live. It's like it's such a barbaric existence that it fascinates me. Like they'll catch something, and then the male lion will come in and kick everybody else. Like it's brutal. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like wow. Just watching that, I'm like, oh boy, like what's going on here? Well, how did we get to this? They're really beautiful creatures. And when they're not aggressive, they're pretty cute. But yeah, it's just it's a brutal world. It's a brutal, brutal, brutal world. Lots of heavy karma going on in there. Incarnating as a lion, it's not a pleasant incarnation. Christian, what's up, my man? The chosen one, hello, new here. So I don't know if you've answered this, but what are your top 5 books for spiritual growth? So I'll just shoot off straight from the hip. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Tao Te Ching, the Bhagavad Gita, and Conversations with God, and I don't have a fifth one. Those are the four that came on top of my head. Hey Saeed, which workout routine do I pick when you have made so many? Try and do calisthenics as much as you can. It's low impact on the body, and you can still build decent muscle and decent strength with it. You'll recover quicker, you'll have less tension in your body, so try and do some form of calisthenics. Christian, I was stripping on 2 grams of shrooms on a hill and I saw a female entity who was surrounded by changing colors, and I felt like she was my spirit mother or something. Not sure who that female entity was. There's a lot of interpretations for this. Somebody could come in and interpret it as an archetype, the archetype of the mother. Another interpretation would be it's a literal ancestor of yours, like a DNA ancestor of that particular family line that you're incarnated in. Another interpretation would be a spirit guide. You might have a female spirit guide. So there's a lot of interpretations there. Is it weird that I feel out of focus on LSD microdoses? You're probably just not prepared to microdose. I got a video coming on microdosing, so keep an eye out for it, because I started microdosing again. I'm not microdosing now, and you will never be able to tell if I'm microdosing or not, by the way. But I made a video, just keep an eye for it. It's scheduled about microdosing and how to properly microdose, okay? You're feeling out of focus because you're not adequately prepared for microdosing. And so just keep an eye for the video. It's a pretty long video. It's like almost 30 minutes. It's scheduled sometime in the next 5 days, where I talk about how to microdose properly, because I stopped for a couple of months and I'm back microdosing now again, but not every day. And yeah, I've sort of, with 2 years of experimentation now, I've sort of seen that what it takes to have a successful microdose, because just because you microdose doesn't mean you're going to have energy, doesn't mean you're going to be focused. It could be actually completely the other way if you're not prepared. So keep an eye for the video. Let's see. Do you think Jas Mohin is fraudulent, profiting off breatharianism? I don't know too much about Jas Mohin. But if you want to see somebody that's right now doing his thing, look up Eli Tamil Amin. And look up Ray Moore, okay? I don't know why you're so concentrated on Jas Mohin, and there are many breatharians alive right now, alive and well and spreading their message. Look up Ray Moore and look up Eli Tamil Amin. And stop being such a naysayer, for God's sake, okay? Sorry to be a little harsh here, but because you're always leaving these comments and it's pure naysaying here. Remember, your mind creates matter. Right? I mean, there is so many breatharians out there. Just go do your research instead of being so concentrated. It's because, I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to be 100% honest with you here. You're attached to food. I'm just speaking about myself too, okay? And you don't want to believe that you could live without food because you don't want your beliefs to be challenged. So you're looking for, anything that is fraudulent or suspicious. It's because you don't want your beliefs challenged, because if you know that you don't need food to be alive, you're going to be challenged now. So ease up on the naysaying, and look up some of the people that are living this message, okay? Look up Eli Tamil Amin, look up Ray Moore, okay? Hey Saeed, you didn't wish me luck for my level exam tomorrow. Yeah, you already got the luck from the sun, and we have a okay. I turned on the super chat here, and we've got a donation, but I'm trying to figure out how to see who did it, because Rasaja, thank you. Happy 4th to you as well, Rasaja. You're very generous, Rasaja. You're very generous. Thank you, and happy 4th to you as well. Let's go back here. What do we have? I moved to Hawaii from Michigan. Ooh, you're living in Hawaii. Well, we've got somebody living in Hawaii. We've got another fellow soul here creating a heaven on earth. Ladies and gents, you could do it. You could do it. Create heaven on earth. Why don't you say sleep with the fishes anymore? Because it's part of the past now. It's like it's not relevant anymore, you know? How can you be sure if this reincarnation stuff is true? It's just pretty obvious. It's honestly pretty obvious. I watched the documentary too. It was terrifying to say the least. And that Mohawk lion, Mr. T. Yes, Mr. T. Terrifying. You guys should go check out the documentary. Lions, brothers in blood, lions of sands, of Sabi Sands. Oh my god. Oh, like if you really want to see what lion life is all about, and if you want to get a perspective on the animal realm and how brutal it can be and why it's rated such a low realm to incarnate in as far as, you know, Buddhism is concerned, go watch that documentary. It'll give you a lot of insights, because if there is so much violence in the planet, it shows you, even on an animal level, it shows you the consciousness of the entire planet. If we were living in the golden age right now, which we're obviously not, there would be very minimal violence in the animal kingdom. Very minimal. But because the entire planet, the consciousness of the planet is so fear-based, it's like, it's fear, it's all fear programs, that the animals themselves get really violent. And if you want an insight into that world, Brothers in Blood. Okay, Brothers in Blood, the Lions of Sabi Sands. Mr. T is brutal. Brutal. Doesn't your buddy Jan start his fast soon? Yes, he's starting his fast soon. He's starting his fast, I think, in a couple of days. I'm gonna have him on when he's on his seventh day. Jean, I feel like the subtle synchronicities on Earth are proof that we are now leaving Kali Yuga. We're leaving Kali Yuga for sure. We've already left it, but the transition takes a long time. It takes a long time. And look, I don't know anything what I'm talking about here now, but there is this thing that I've just been exposed to recently. It's a 2020 shift. Apparently there are like different vibrations of Earth, and there's a vibration of Earth where they're moving into the Silver Age, which is pretty damn good. And apparently there is a portal that's gonna open in 2020, and you could go and live in that vibration of Earth. You know, I just been exposed to it recently, so I can't really speak about it. But I got a feeling one or two of you guys know a lot more about this topic than I do. Sunfire Genesis is another breatharian. Oh yeah, Sunfire Genesis is one of my favorite because he's ripped, right? So he's ripped, he's jacked, he works out, he works out hardcore, he's breatharian. And so, you know, it's amazing to see all these breatharians, you know, living like they look like normal people. They don't even look scrawny or anything, because they're already powered by prana. So if you guys want to look up Sunfire Genesis, he's really good. Or I think he's got another name, Sunfire Jericho. Look at the Dark Lighthouse YouTube channel. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's amazing. I really like Dark Lighthouse. Tyler Budd. I really like him. I actually binge watched his videos over the last month, and he's really good with the breatharian stuff. Let's see. Do you have any tips for meditation for beginners? That requires a whole different video. But be comfortable. Be as comfortable as you can. Okay, if you sit cross-legged and it hurts too much, change your seating position or get a meditation cushion or lay down or something. Be comfortable. It's important to be comfortable in meditation. Okay, so a posture that's comfortable for you, and you're not being too bothered. Like yesterday, I meditated at night. There was too many mosquitoes. They were bothering me, but I stuck around for 1 hour because it's part of the meditation. But tonight, I'm not gonna go to the same place. I'm gonna go somewhere where there is no mosquitoes, because if you're in a somewhere comfortable, it is a meditation, obviously, to put yourself in like uncomfortable case, like being bitten by mosquitoes, but you wanna be pleasant overall. So be as pleasant as you can when you meditate, so you could go within quicker. Said, please read Robert Wagner's book on lucid dreaming. He explains how you can heal anything during the dream, see past lives. Okay. I just got a credit on Audible, so I'm gonna look up this book. I'm gonna take your suggestion here, So Robert Wagoners, I gotta write this down. Hopefully it's on Audible, because I'm too ruined. I don't read anymore. I just listen. Audiobooks ruined me. What are your views on zodiac signs? I notice a lot of patterns. I know nothing about that world, but I know it's true shit. Saeed, you said you were gonna make a video on how to use dark energy to fuel you. Are you still planning on making it? Yeah. Yeah, I will check the dark lighthouse. Yes, check the the dark lighthouse, Sunfire Jericho, and Eli Tamil Amin and Ray Moore. They're all breatharians and they're doing wonderfully. Like it's. Saeed, I follow Eli Tamil Amin and he's been on the breatharian transition for 19 years. So I know we can all return to breath alone, but it takes relearning to breathe again. It is hard for you, right? It is. It really is. It really is. I put in 2 hours a day just to, retrain myself to breathe. It's Sunfire Jericho, another breatharian. He actually recommends that you take 15 years to transition. And he says go on fruits for 5 years, go on juices for 5 years, and then start to do it. So it really is up to you, but it takes time. It takes time, and it's a two steps forward, one step backward type of thing. But I mean, it's freedom, because even if you become breatharian, and you basically have freedom now in every sense of the word. Okay, not just in this here and now, in this plane, but even when you leave your body and you decide to come back, not come back, or whatever, you have no physical attachments to this plane. You've already extricated yourself from them. So it's a fantastic thing to do, whether you're looking to stay here, and I know Eli Tamil Amin talks about immortality. He's happy here. He loves this plane. He wants to stay here. Okay? So he talks about immortality. So in whatever you want to do with your state of consciousness, I think, breatharianism is a fantastic ally. It's like once you know about it, you can't ignore it. It's like you just can't ignore it. Like it's like the sun. Once you see the sun and it's a sunny day, it's like, what are you gonna do? Ignore that the sun is there? Can't do it. Hold up. Where did you hear about this 2020 thing? I heard it from the Dark Lighthouse, and then I got sucked into some rabbit holes, flat Earth, etc., etc., etc. But it seems to be a big thing, so you guys should look into it. Yes, I heard it from Taylor Butt, and yeah, from Taylor Butt. And then I looked into it. Turns out there's a whole community about it. Would you recommend binaural beats for meditation for beginners, or just quiet? Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. Art, what's up, Saeed? I just joined in. What did I miss? Quite a bit, my friend. Quite a bit. I would watch this again. What do you do when you're bored in winter? I don't know what I'm going to do in the dorm. Just wondering what you do when it's cold and dark. It's tough times, man. It's tough times. It's tough times, bro. It's tough times. It really tests your patience. I usually do this. This keeps me busy. And this last winter, I extensively studied Buddhism and Hinduism. So that kind of kept me busy. Okay, so get something that keeps you mentally stimulated, whatever it is. For me this winter, I extensively studied Buddhism and Hinduism. It kept me busy. It really kept me busy. So keep yourself mentally stimulated. The book is Lucid Dreaming, Gateway to Inner Self. Okay, I wrote down the name of the author and I'm gonna look into it. Saeed, have you heard about a drug called Kratom? Yes, but I've never tried it. What do you think about Dalai Lama denouncing healing powers? I know nothing of that sort. However, you have to keep something in mind about the Dalai Lama and Sadhguru. For example, I'm giving you really popular, millions of people, billions of people know who these are. Sadhguru, Dalai Lama. They are very wise beings, very, very high conscious wise beings, and they are so conscious and so wise that they understand that they're speaking to the mainstream, and they have to go down a level and speak to the mainstream at the level that they're at. Okay? So whenever you listen to Sadhguru, for example, notice how most of his advice and everything is generic. I don't really listen to Sadhguru if I want to know what's good. Like what's good. I'll go listen to something esoteric. Some niche, somebody who's got a niche in something. Okay? Same thing with Dalai Lama, because they are such conscious beings that they understand that they have to lower or be at the level of the mass consciousness, because they're at the forefront of the mass consciousness. So they have to speak to a level that appeals to that. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's probably why he would denounce these types of things, because he knows he's speaking to the masses and everything. But I mean, Tibet is probably, it's one of the most magical spiritual traditions. Tibetan Buddhism is all about magic and tantra. It's a tantric practice. So, if you're looking to learn about magical powers, Tibetan Buddhism is the best place to start. Okay, but again, people like Sadhguru, Dalai Lama, they know they're at the forefront of the mainstream. So they have to speak to that level. Dalai Lama can't come out and say, oh, by the way, like, some yogis here, they can fly and they can levitate and all that. That's not for the mainstream. Have you ever been recognized outside of YouTube? You mean like people in real life recognizing you on YouTube? Yeah. It happens. It used to happen more with the fitness channel because it was much bigger and because I was in the gym. So then the people that are likely to have stumbled upon my channel were people in the gym. I don't really go to the gym anymore. I don't post on my fitness channel. But when I was doing fitness, I was getting recognized quite a bit in the gym. Like quite a bit, actually. Surprisingly quite a bit. But now it doesn't happen so much anymore. But it did happen. It did happen recently. Somebody messaged me on Facebook saying, I saw you. So it's here in Ottawa. So it still happens, but not as much as it used to. What do you think about Alan Watts? I love the guy. He's a joker. His role is the joker. Watch the lecture by him. He talks about the yogi, the fakir, and the joker. And he talks about all these different roles that people go on once they get into this, they go into the spiritual path or whatever you want to call it. And he's a joker. I like him. He's got a sense of humor, and he sees the whole thing as a game, and he's sort of aware of it. And he's really entertaining. I really like Alan Watts. Saeed, I'm almost not fearless of dying, as I have realized death makes no sense through days and months of thinking about it. You said I was on the right path, and I was so. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Sadhguru eats raw live foods mostly. And so Sadhguru is, again, same thing. He's got to be on that level. What's the meaning of life, Saeed? It's too much to get into right now. Do you think depressed people are souls trying to get out but don't know how? Yes, I answered that yesterday, and I think the people that are smart and aware and depressed are people who are not aware of how things work, and therefore, they're feeling stuck and imprisoned. So definitely. So what else do we have here? Also, Saeed, you inspired me to start YouTube, and my grounding video is very similar to your style of walking and talking to a camera. I'm doing pretty well. Yes, my pleasure, man, my pleasure. And what do we have here? Who created the source, and what does it get from all this? The source just is. It's just like pure isness. It's timeless. It's beginningless and endless. And I'm throwing these words right now. They're absolutely meaningless, because you have to understand, language is like, we're in such a dense realm. It's unbelievable actually how dense this realm is that we're in. It's so dense. Like you don't understand. It's one of the lowest realms you could be in right now. Okay, it's like very dense. And because we're so dense, we have to use language. It's so dense that we have to use language. We have to use like language, which is like such a low form of communication. So I could tell you it's beginningless and endless, but you won't understand it, and I don't even understand it as I'm saying it. At the end of the day, this is an experience. Okay, this is an experience. So when you experience it, you know, he who knows does not speak, who he speaks does not know. And another saying is what's another saying? Another saying is stop thinking, stop talking, and there isn't anything you won't understand. So again, I can tell you it's the beginningless and endless and it's timeless. It's like at the end of the day, I'm using very, very low forms of communication in a very, very dense realm to try and explain to you what the source is. Doesn't work. Sadhguru always makes me laugh. I love watching his conversations with scientists. They seem to awestruck by him. Yeah, he's hilarious. Sadhguru is hilarious. He is absolutely hilarious. I'm gonna ask you, Saeed, what's the best moment in your life and the worst moment of your life? Uh, it's a good one. Well, best moment so far is discovering psychedelics, for sure. I can't think of anything else. Discovering psychedelics, because they really woke me up. I was deep asleep. They woke me up. And worst moment was probably drinking by myself in my apartment in my first and second year university, feeling bad for myself, feeling angry, feeling frustrated, crying, and even pondering suicide. Okay, but that was a different story. I talk about dropping the body now and going to other planes because at the time, you know, because you might think of what I talk about as it's a form of suicide, quote unquote, but it's coming from two different sentiments. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty bad moments in my life. Saeed, how do you create heaven on earth? You visualize what you ask yourself, what is heaven? You write it down on paper, you visualize it, and you begin to create that heaven. You begin to live it. Plants give us life. Plants give everything life. How do I go to a better place after death? Like I said, create heaven on earth. Live in a heavenly state of mind and being right now in every sense. Your environment, your circumstances, your thoughts, and your energy will propel you to a pleasant situation after. Whether it's back in this realm or in a different realm altogether. Thomas, how's it going? It's beautiful, my man. Thank you for asking. Yo, I'm about to fly out to Thailand as we can kick it when I get the chance. Yeah, you know, if any of you guys, you know, wants to hang out in Thailand, just drop by and so I'll ask a question here, because you know I got you know it's if you're gonna come, I want to host retreats in Thailand, you know, meditation retreats, etc. But obviously, it's going to cost. It's going to cost you the plane ticket and everything to come, right? But you know, a question: who's willing to do that? If I was to, you know, host some retreats, you know, somewhere out in like the jungles of Chiang Mai, in northern Thailand, you know, who's willing to do that? I mean, again, you gotta keep in mind it's gonna cost you, right? But you come hang out. We'll hang out for a few days and. You know, it'll be good. So if you're willing, you know, I gotta probably do a survey or something like that because I'd love to host retreats. I really would love to host retreats, and Thailand's a perfect place for that. Do you like Diogenes? Is that a Zen master? Is that I'm not sure who that is, but I think it's a Zen master, isn't it? Jason, what's up, my man? Jay, what's going on, brother? Saeed, I did LSD with my friend, but he didn't wake up. Still the same average Joe. Yeah. I have friends who did LSD, and it absolutely did zero for them. Nothing. Okay, nothing. That shows you psychedelics is not the answer. It's just somebody's answer, but not everybody's answer. I find it interesting how the best and worst moments came from external drugs. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, it is pretty interesting, isn't it? Advice for an 18-year-old who hasn't really experienced much in life, meaning staying home a lot. Be brave, my friend. Just be brave and go out there. One thing I used to do a lot is before all of this, before starting the first YouTube channel, before doing psychedelics, is I would just kind of go to the woods at night by myself, and it was shitty scared in the beginning. Okay, the first like 10 times I did it, I was so scared. Because I'm like walking, I'm talking about woods here. I'm talking about like woods, not like a little trail. I'm talking about woods, okay? First 10 times I did it was scared shitless. But after a while, your nervous system adjusts and you begin to be comfortable in that environment. And pretty soon, I was so comfortable in such a an environment, going to the woods, nothing, not even a flashlight, but I recommend you take a flashlight with you, that I made a friend in, like, it was darkness and he was walking and I was walking and he was black, so I can't even see him, okay? And because I was so comfortable in that and he was so comfortable, we actually ended up having a conversation for like 5 minutes, because I figured I'm so comfortable, I'm not scared. I figured anybody who's in this place at this time, in this situation, it's gotta be on the same vibe as me. And it turns out he was on the same vibe. But my point that I'm trying to drive across here is be brave. Okay, just be brave, do brave things, and then you'll be okay. Saeed, I'm feeling very depersonalized lately and it makes it hard for me to communicate well with people around me. How are you able to communicate so well? Like, for example, right now, any tips? See, I can't communicate anymore. I got nothing to say. No, but it comes with practice. You gotta keep in mind, I made, combined now with 2 channels, I made almost 1,500 videos. I'm so comfortable speaking now because I've been doing it over and over and over and over. So these things just come with practice, man. It's nothing mystical. It's just like I literally have like 1,500 videos on YouTube. Okay, like that. Come on, you just get so comfortable speaking at that point. So it just comes with time and practice. It just comes with time and practice. Serious question. When is the last time you had sex? Since you've made interesting videos on the subject. Good question. I can't even remember. I know who it was with, but it was quite a while ago. Okay, it was quite a while ago. And to be honest with you, I'm not dying to have sex. I mean, I'm not too crazy about it anymore, you know. And if I do, it has to be with someone that is, well, vibrating pretty damn high, I'll tell you. Okay, because all sex is a form of union. Okay, somebody, a bunch of monks in Tibet sitting and chanting Om Mani Padme Om is the same thing as 2 people having sex. It's both are acts of union. Okay, now with sitting around in a monastery and chanting in a group chant meditation, you're raising the energy up, you're raising it, you're getting in an altered state. But if you're having regular mainstream sex with someone else, you raise the energy high for like 15-20 minutes, you blow your load, and boom, you crash, you come out of it. Suddenly that person is not as beautiful, they're not as pretty, but in that moment of orgasm, it's a union. Now, if and when I'm gonna have sex again, first of all, the woman has to be very vibrant, I'll tell you. Not just a little bit, very. Another thing is, it's gonna be tantric, man. There's no way in hell I'm ever gonna bust my seed again. It's just because, again, if you're doing tantric sex, now we're getting into union. Now we're getting into union with the divine. If you're doing tantric sex, if you're holding your seed, raising your energy, raising the woman's energy, okay? And if you're together are raising the energy, and if you come to the point of where you feel like you need to come and you sort of pull it up and you sort of literally move it to your third eye, you could experience like, boom, like cosmic union, okay? So it's not as important for me to have sex, because it's just like I see it just another way, and that started to happen when I started doing psychedelics, because psychedelics, I mean, you drop 3-4 grams of mushrooms, and that's way more intense than sex. That's way more intense. And that's when I started to realize, oh, hold on, like these are all just forms of union. With sex, you need another person that's sort of vibrating high and on the same vibe. Okay, if that person is available, I'm available, great. If they're not available, I'm not available, who cares? There's a bunch of other ways to experience this mystical union. And like I said, you drop 3-4 grams of mushrooms, forget about it. It's gonna blow any experience you had with anybody sexually, unless again you're doing it tantric and there's someone you resonate with. I'm telling you right now, if you've just been having regular mainstream sex and you like drop 3 grams of mushrooms the first time, that's gonna blow any sexual intercourse you've ever had with someone, because they're all forms of union. But if you're like busting your nut and you're doing the mainstream sex, like that's a very low form of union. Okay, it's very transient, and you spill your seed, you lose your energy. So yeah, so that's sort of my outlook on sex. I really don't really care. I don't even feel the need. I just don't feel like it's a necessary thing in my life. I don't feel like it's a necessary thing. Okay, but again, if the right person comes, then it would be damn good. Okay, because then if the right person comes, maybe we'll be able to take the experience to such a level that it would even blow away a psychedelic trip, because you could get very high states, but only if you're doing it tantric. Okay, that's about it really. Saeed, are you still on the nofap? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm not spilling the seed anymore. That's just like, it's out of the question. I found that after doing psychs, I'm not scared of the nighttime like I used to be. I find it quite peaceful now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Uh, these these porn stars are too hot, fam. Yeah, they are. They are, but also I suggest you go watch some documentaries on porn stars. There's a few of them on Netflix, and you will see that they're just actors, and at the end of the day they all have like regular lives and boyfriends and this and that. Like, it's not as glamorous as you think. They're acting at the end of the day. What was your first video on YouTube? It's cold showers. Everyone's been celibate for 3 years, it seems, including me. Like I said, it's you don't want to mix up your energy. For the most part, I wouldn't get mixed up with most people in mainstream society. It's gonna drain your energy. If you're gonna get mixed up sexually with someone, get it with someone that's vibrating high and do it tantric style. Otherwise, you're better off just hanging out here and making videos or doing whatever your thing is. Raise your energy. It's again, it's sex is like a powerful thing, but again, it's not a necessity. And certainly, I wouldn't go around in society banging everyone, because you're going to pick up parasites. You're going to pick up lots of bad shit, man. Okay? Now, if this was the golden age, we were living in the golden age, it would be a different story, because everybody would be so clean. Nobody would be even having sex. Everybody would be having a cosmic orgasm with the divine anyway, okay? But what I'm saying is, if you were living somewhere clean, it's a clean society, you go out, you bang everyone, it's okay. Everybody's clean. But you're living in a very parasitic society, so I wouldn't recommend that type of behavior. When is your birthday? Just passed, June 23rd. Have your balls gotten any smaller after having 3 months with cold showers? Yeah, but they got bigger instantly. Let's see, we've got... oh, Jan. Hey, we've got our friend Jan here, who was on the podcast, and he donated $20. Jan, thank you. Or not even 20 euros, which is like, that's like $30. Hey, Jan, my man, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And yeah, well, I told everybody we're gonna have you on your 7th day of fasting. We're gonna do it live. What do we have here? Osho or Sadhguru? Sadhguru is for humor. Osho is more for the deeper stuff, as far as I'm concerned. Like, Osho will go deeper. into stuff. Sadhguru, because again, he's more mainstream. But Sadhguru for humor. Let's see. Guys, let's all sit in a circle, take mushrooms, and chant. Well, like, I'm definitely willing to do that in Thailand if you guys like can afford to come there and we'll have a retreat. I'm totally willing to do that. Jan, I love you too, brother. I love you too. I love you too. What is God? Jan, yeah, see, Jan's got a lot of love in here. I mean, I told you, Jan, like, you've got a lot of love, and the people love the podcast, man. They love the podcast. How did you tell your parents you're not religious, and how did they react to it? It's hard, especially if your parents are Muslim. They just kind of started watching some of my videos and figured that out. They're not enthusiastic about it. I don't speak with my parents very much anymore. Not because of anything, but because we're just kind of, everybody's doing their own thing. Like we're it's very nice, it's very cool. They don't give me any hard time about anything, but because we're sort of just on different paths, I guess. So I barely speak to my parents. I barely speak to my parents. I'll speak to them every now and then, just say hello, how's everything. But it's sort of, everybody's kind of doing their thing in life, and I accepted it as it is, and I think my parents have accepted it as it is also. I have a bad habit of mixing up my energy with friends and my social group. I find myself getting drained, like you talk about, but I always make sure I do yoga every day to regain it. Yeah. It's very easy to get drained, your energy. Again, the society we're in is a parasitic society, and it's incredibly easy to have your energy drained. Really incredibly easy. So you've got to shield your energy in a way. So yeah, my birthday is June 23rd. Yeah. Mine is 1991. It's 1991. That's pretty crazy, actually. That we have the same birthday. You went from having 500,000 to, no, not 500,000, just 100,000, to 5K subs. Why? Because it's time to move on, my friend. I know, is it YouTube censored? But what do you do? What to do when you have not had much sexual experience and want to indulge in sex with a lot of women, even though I know it's bad? Well, you go and indulge, pick up the parasites, get sick, and then that'll teach you. Always trust your own experience. If you want to indulge, go indulge, my friend. You'll learn. Your experience will teach you. The parasites will teach you. Yeah, so hey bro, I miss talking to you. Do you remember me? Yeah, of course, Matt. I remember you, man. I remember you. Yes, of course. You're one of the old timers, man. I love you too. God bless you. Saeed, if the higher truth of life is that life is meaningless, why should anything matter? Why do you continue to add meaning to whatever you do? Because what else is there to do? We know it doesn't matter. There is a saying from this book. I think it's Don Juan or Carlos Castaneda or something. But there's a saying that you know that nothing matters, but you go on making believe that it does. Because what else are you going to do? It's like that story from, I talked about it in the Advaita Vedanta video about this self-enlightened being, right? And a monk comes up to him and asks him, he says, you're enlightened. What are you doing here picking flowers? You should be in there teaching people, like, going into mystical union, etc. He's like, what are you doing picking flowers? He says, what else am I going to do? What else are we going to do? We're still in the duality. We're still in the dream state. Let's do whatever's going on, whatever's to be done. So what else we have here? Yeah, you can create meaning in the meaningless. I agree. So yeah, we're all basically slaves as we come to Earth, but also have the choice to leave. Yeah, we do. Like I said, I really wanted to clarify this in this video. I really want to drive it home. I want to leave personally. As pleasant as life gets for me here, I want to leave. I don't want to come back here anymore. But create heaven on earth here first. Really, really live a heavenly state, so that when you do leave, you want to come back here, you don't want to come back here, your energy will propel you to somewhere pleasant at least. Okay? Why not just use your 100K subs channel and continue making videos? Like you're wasting years. I'm done with that world, man. I'm done with that world. That's it. It's time to move on. Saeed, why am I laughing at everything? Because everything is funny. Because everything is a game. That's you know what I mean. Like it is what it is. I find everything hilarious after listening to you because again, you're picking up on the vibe. Because my friend, you know, everything is funny. You know, like it is a game. Like it sounds trivial, but it is a game. That's what the cosmic giggle is. It's like recognizing that everything is a game, and from that, once you see it, you can't ignore that it's a game, and everything is just funny. Like it's funny. It's funny. It is funny. Like what you know? What else? It's pretty hilarious. Life is pretty hilarious because everybody's like I watch animal documentaries, and as brutal as they are, like I'll let out a giggle because it's like it's kind of funny that these animals don't know that they're God and they're just kind of like killing one another. Like it's brutal, but it's also funny. Like there is humor in it. And it's same thing with like humans and all this like stuff that's happening. Like it's kind of funny how everybody forgot that they're playing a role. It's pretty funny. You know, one of my mushroom trips, I looked at my IDs, you know, the government IDs, my driver's license and stuff, and I was bursting out of laughter for like 15 minutes. No kidding. Bursting out of laughter. Just laughing. Because it's like, how ridiculous. How ridiculous, right? And when, you know, the more and more you live in that Godhead, in the soul space, you can't really take things seriously much anymore. You can't. So yeah. How's your juice fasting going, Saeed? So I finished the 21 day. Now I'll drink juices. You know, it really depends. I'll drink 2-3 days, maybe 3 days, and then I'll have like a small meal. And then I'll go 3 days again, and then I'll have a small meal. Maybe I'll go 4 days. Maybe I'll go 2 days. Like it's just kind of on and off. I'm basically just waiting to go to Thailand and just get on the coconut water. So I'm just kind of killing time right now. I really like coconut water. I think it's heavenly. I think it's like the best thing ever of all time. Like it tastes orgasmic and nirvanic, and it's so electrifying. And I could go on writing poetry about coconut water, right? When I'm in Thailand and I have access to coconuts and you know they're cheap and reasonably priced, I'll be able to like basically just live off coconut water for ages. Okay, like if I had unlimited access to coconut water right now, it would be game over. I would just be doing like that's it. It would be game over for me and food. It would just be coconut water. But right now, you know, I don't really like juices to be honest. I don't like juicing. I prefer to just, you know, if I'm gonna drink something, to drink it as nature gave it to you in a water form. That would be coconut water because it's still got sugars and energy and everything, right? It really is incredible. So in the meantime, it's just kind of on and off with the juices. Like, you know, a few days juices, one meal here and there, killing time until I'm in Thailand. Then it's the coconut water life. Lucid dreams are a way to speak to the dead. Yeah, absolutely. What country are you from? Canada, originally Syria. Saeed, do you have depression? No. Just feelings, you know, sometimes I'll feel like sad for the world, but it's not really depression. It's not like depression. It's just like moments of sadness, compassion. And, but yeah, it's not, I wouldn't call it depression. Other than meditating and being in nature, what do you do in your free time? Uh, this, videos, I educate myself. I listen to people, lectures, this and that, podcasts, educate myself. Just educate myself about the world, about our human condition, our predicament, because ignorance is in many ways the original sin. And so, you know, we have to do something about our ignorance by educating ourselves. Guys, I'm gonna drop my body right now. please, if you do, teach me how to do it. Okay, so despair. Said, should I drink lots of water or go on a water fast? Yeah, most of us are dehydrated because of the foods we eat and the toxins we have, right? So go on a water fast if your environment is properly set for it, okay? But other than that, I would just start into intermittent fasting and maybe eating once a day. Have you read the book Living in a Mindful Universe? No, I have not. So sadness from seeing so much darkness, but being detached from it, basically. Yeah, I mean, I could literally like have a cosmic giggle and laugh like at just everything for 10 minutes, but then I'll have a moment in the same day where I feel like a lot of sadness for the world. So it's like this, the laughter is the wisdom because you see that it's a game. The sadness is the compassion, and it's that mix of wisdom and compassion, right? What's up, man? How you doing? Harris, what's going on, my brother? Matt, love you, brother. Have a beautiful day or evening, wherever you happen to be. Yeah, so I'm gonna answer this last question, and then it's time for me to go because I think it's let's see. Yeah, I gotta go take a cold one and go sun gaze. So how do you know what you want in life and what to do? Yeah, that's a long process, man. That's a long process. It takes years. I'm just gonna say you'll figure it out. By the virtue of you asking the question, it means you've already started the process of finding it. Okay, so you'll figure it out. It may take you years, but you'll figure it out. So guys, God bless you all. This has been an absolute blast. I had a cosmic giggle today. I realized the biggest attachment is that you're in your body right now. That means you still think you're your body, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so namaskar. Thank you, brother, the chosen one. Thank you, guys. All the love to all of you guys. Love you. God bless you all. Thank you to Resaja and Jan. You guys are very generous people. Thank you for your donations. And I'll see you guys later, okay? Keep your notifications on, because like I said, I'm overscheduled with videos here. I can't shut up. And so whenever I have something urgent I have to say, I'll just go live stream it, because I don't want to wait 10 or 11 days for all the scheduled videos before I say it, okay? So God bless you all, guys. I'll see you later. I'm gonna donate 2,000. Okay, brother. I'm patiently waiting. Okay. See you guys later.